Imagine you're living in the Roman Empire around the year 186 CE. You're enjoying the peak of civilization with its arts, culture, and engineering marvels. But one day, you notice something strange in the sky. The sun looks red and dim, and the air feels hazy and cold. You wonder if it's a sign of some divine wrath or a cosmic calamity. What you don't know is that halfway around the world, a volcano has just erupted with so much violence that it has sent a massive plume of ash and gas into the atmosphere, where it's spread across the entire globe and it's affected the climate for years to come. This volcano is called Taupō, and it's located on New Zealand's North Island. It's one of the most active and explosive volcanoes on Earth, and it has erupted several times in its history. But the eruption we're talking about today was one of its largest and most energetic events in the past 5,000 years. The Taupō eruption was so powerful that it blasted out about 50 cubic kilometers of material, enough to fill 20 million Olympic-sized swimming pools. It created a huge crater lake that covers an area of 616 square kilometers, or about twice the size of Washington, D.C. It also produced pyroclastic flows, which are fast-moving currents of hot gas and rocks that can reach speeds of up to 700 kilometers per hour and temperatures up to 1,000 degrees Celsius. These flows destroyed everything in their path, including forests, animals, and possibly human settlements. The Taupō eruption also had global consequences. The ash and gas that reached the stratosphere formed a veil around the Earth that blocked some of the sunlight and reduced the temperature. This may have caused crop failures, famines, plagues, and social unrest in various parts of the world. Some historical records from ancient Rome and China describe unusual atmospheric phenomena around this time, such as red suns, dark skies, and fiery clouds. But how do we know that these events were caused by the Taupō eruption? How can we date such an ancient event with precision? And how can we trace its effects across such vast distances? Well, sit back and relax, because this episode's going to be interesting. I'm your host, Mr. Earth Guy, and you're listening to Earth SciShow. To answer some of these questions, a team of scientists from South Korea have come up with a novel method to find evidence of the Taupō eruption, and it was found in the most unlikely place: Antarctica. Antarctica is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent on Earth. It's covered by a thick layer of ice that preserves a record of past climate. By drilling into the ice and extracting cores, scientists can analyze the chemical composition and physical properties of the ice layers and determine their age. The team of scientists used an ice core that was 764 meters long and contained 83,000 years of climate information. They focused on a section that corresponded to the time period around 230 CE, which is when they suspected the Taupō eruption occurred. Dating the exact timing of a volcano is rather challenging. And the novel way that the scientists approached this challenge was by looking for glass shards in the ice cores. Now, glass shards are tiny fragments of volcanic rock that are formed when magma is rapidly cooled by contact with air or water. They have distinct shapes and chemical signatures that can be used to identify their source volcano. The team found 7 glass shards in the ice core at a depth of 279 meters. They used a scanning electron microscope to examine their shapes and sizes and a mass spectrometer to measure their elemental composition. They then compared their results with other samples from New Zealand, and they confirmed that they matched those from the Taupō eruption. One shard was particularly interesting. It had a different composition than the others. In fact, it matched another sample from an earlier eruption of Taupō, called Oruanui. This eruption occurred 25,600 years ago. Now you're probably wondering, how in the same layer of ice, or in the same layers of ice, are there 2 separate dates of shards? Well, the answer is a rather simple one. Due to the nature of volcanic eruptions, which build repeated layers of magma, this shard was probably dug up from the ground by the later eruption and thrown into the air along with the other new shards. The team also dated the ice layer where they found the shards using radiocarbon analysis. They determined that it was formed in the early months of the year close to 230 CE. This agreed with other methods of dating the Taupō eruption, such as radiocarbon dating of tree logs buried by pyroclastic flows. The team concluded that they had found a unique and undeniable double fingerprint of Taupō in Antarctica. They had also confirmed the timing of its eruption with high accuracy. This finding is remarkable for several reasons. First, it shows that the Taupō eruption was so powerful that it ejected glass shards 5,000 kilometers south to Antarctica, where they were buried under 280 meters of ice for 2,000 years. Second, it demonstrates that ice cores can be used as a reliable and precise tool to date and trace volcanic eruptions. And third, it provides an opportunity to study the global effects of the Taupō eruption on the atmosphere and climate, which is crucial for better understanding its eruptive history and behavior. The Taupō eruption is a fascinating example of how nature can unleash its fury and change the course of history. It's also a reminder of how interconnected our planet is and how events in one part of the world can have consequences in another. Thank you for listening to this episode, and I really hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Please share this with at least one friend or one family member. It really helps the channel. You've been listening to Earth SciShow, and I'm your host, Mr. Earth Guy. And remember, stay curious.